What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. This is Constant Sports. I am your host, Constance. Now, gotta do the recap from this weekend's games. But before we do, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, help your girl out. All right, so we're gonna jump right into this. All right, so Saturday we had two games: Storm and Sparks, and then Lynx and Mystics. Sparks came out with the W against the Storm, 92-85. It was a very good game. Offensive wise, defensive wise, it's just that the Storm is still struggling a little bit on their defense, and LA has a lot of power. Okay, you still have NECA. Um, Canada is really coming into her own and is really, really good to see. Um, but it's Seattle hasn't been a team that only relies on one player in a long time. I know everyone's always known about Sue Bird, but when Seattle was up, it was Bird and Lauren, right? And so when Lauren left, they kind of dipped a little bit, and then that's when they got Brianna Stewart and Jewel Lloyd came in. They had Canada for a little bit, so it was always a collective group of people who could score the ball. And now with Jewel Lloyd being the only really for real offensive threat, they still have to get everyone else into the mix. Kia Nurse still puts up her points. She's doing good. Um, but you have Jewel Lloyd who scored, but she scored 37 points, right? And then Magdeburg is really coming into her own. I'm really liking the way that she plays, defense, offense. She's a very smart young player, so I really like her potential. But then after that, your rest of your starting five had 6 points or 5 points. So they have to get some more production out of the rest of the team. You had Melbourne came in and gave them 10, which is good off of the bench. But then you go with LA and NECA had 27, Shanae had 15, Clarendon had 16, Lexi Brown had 14, and Canada had 9 points with 7 assists. The assist total for both teams was 24 LA to Seattle's 18. So both teams shot the ball fairly well. Seattle shot 46% while LA shot 45. 3 pointers. LA is not a consistent 3 point shooting team, but they are getting better. In Seattle, they was 52% from the three. So I mean that's it. So it's just Seattle has a little bit more things to figure out, and they'll be fine. Obviously, this is the season that most people thought that they would have. But as long as they keep building on what they have right now, I think by the end of the season, they'll definitely be a team for people to look out for potentially next year. And LA, you guys already know, is my sleeping team right now. They're my sleeper team. Um, so I'm just excited to see what they continue to do with all these pieces that they have. So yeah. On to our next game, you have Minnesota Lynx versus the Mystics. And like I said in the last video, I know a lot of people are saying that Minnesota is tanking this season. And like I said, I don't know. But Minnesota played a very, very good, physical, aggressive game against Washington. Now, usually Minnesota at the end of the games, that fourth quarter, they start to drop off a little bit. But this game, they were consistent. I felt like Minnesota won that game. Washington didn't lose it. Like everyone tried their best at every aspect. Whatever their role was on the team, they did that to the best of their abilities, and it came out with them beating Washington 80-76. So if they want to continue to prove that they're not tanking, which I'm sure just like we're hearing it, the players are hearing it as well, This is what they have to continue to do to get all of those naysayers off their backs. Washington is a very complete team. They're a complete team. They do lack on defense every now and then, but Shakira Austin is probably, to me, the bright spot on that team. I know you got Elena Delle Donne, but Elena Delle Donne is supposed to be playing at a high level. She's supposed to be having great games. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not every single game will be a great game because that's not how those things work. But how Shakira Austin has turned it around from her rookie year to this year, which to me, I thought she had a very good rookie year. But this year, she's showing that she belongs in the WNBA, and she's giving it everything she got every single time. She's pushing her teammates. She's outspoken, and so that's very good for her to continue in this league. All right, so on to our Sunday games. We had 3 good games on Sunday. Sky, Liberty. What happened? Sky's down 19 points. And with them missing so many people, you would expect them to be down 19 points to a New York Liberty team that everyone calls a super team and that they're probably going to win it all and all of these different things. You expect a team to be down who lost 2 of their main players to be down by 19 points to them. But what you don't expect is for that team to come back and win that game by 4. It was a sign of resilience. It was a sign of confidence, and just pure athleticism and talent is how Chicago beat the Liberty. That third quarter for Kalia Copper, mind blowing. And then my thing is like, in that third quarter, when you saw her going off, your defense should have changed. And I didn't see that much of a defensive change for New York. They pretty much went back to what it was that first game when they wasn't really playing that good of defense, but they were trying to let their offense speak. But when you're going up against another team who also has offensive power, but also a very good defense, you lose a game that you were up by 19 points. Clea Copper had 27 points. She's the highest scorer in that game. The person on the team that was down 19 points is the highest scorer for the whole game for both teams. Let's see, Brianna Stewart had 20, Vandersloot had 18, Jonquil Jones had 9, Ionescu 4, Laney had 6. The only other person who had double digits was Johannes off the bench, and she had 11. So their defense wasn't there. First half, yes, I think the issue with the first half was that Chicago started super slow. I believe it was 0-14 to start the game. They started off super slow. They couldn't get into their rhythm. And maybe it's because of the games that are so close together. Maybe. But this game was a mixture of Chicago winning and New York losing. You know how sometimes you'll have like, no, this team didn't win that game, this team lost that game. I think it was a combination of both. It was just Chicago had more, they wanted it more. They pushed the floor more, and it was amazing. It was, the resilience of this team is going to be great throughout the season because these things happen. They keep happening. Injuries to teammates, different situations that are out of everyone's control. But how a team bounces back for that means everything. So to see Chicago doing it this early just means that they're going to be even better down the line. Okay. So our last game, well, not our last game, but our second game on Sunday, you had the Wings and the Sun. Sun came out winning that game. And I think the main with Dallas, they lean on Enrique a lot, which I get because for a while she was the only offensive power there, really. And then when Mabry left, you took away the other offensive power that they had. But this year, Satu Sabali has been playing very, very good, which I expected with her being out so much the previous years that she would come in and she's doing what she's supposed to do. But Agumba Wale was 3 of 16, 8 points. She did have 6 assists, but out of the starting five, she was the only one who didn't score in double digits. So that hurt them. It didn't hurt them as much as how they lost the game, but it hurted them because they didn't have her leadership wasn't really there because she wasn't making her shots. She wasn't getting into her groove. So her leadership was also off a little bit. In Connecticut, Connecticut 6-1. They're the top of the league in the Eastern Conference, right? Number 2 team in the league right now behind Las Vegas. So they came out and they're pretty much what they do. They play tough ball, defense. It's Connecticut. They're going to be around and they're going to continue to prove to people that they deserve to be in those conversations. And I'm here for it. I'll keep them in the conversations as long as they're proving it. Then you'll be in the conversation, right? Our next and final game was Las Vegas versus Indiana. Now we know that Indiana is starting to play with a lot more confidence. But the confidence that I saw yesterday in that game was the confidence of a team that's like, we can win this. We can win this all. No one can stop us. They were not afraid of the Aces one bit, which that's usually how it is. You play a pickup game. The young bucks ain't scared of the old folks, right? They're not scared to bully them. They're not scared to play up against them. And that's what Indiana did. They played amazing basketball the entire game. Definitely got into some foul trouble. Aaliyah Boston is still getting into that foul trouble. The coaching staff needs to figure out how to teach her how to defend certain big players. So how you defend someone who plays in the post is totally different how you defend someone who steps out the post or who drives the ball more. So that's just something that they have to work on. She's young, she's a rookie. These things, that's the whole developmental part, right? But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have no idea how the Aces got that win. And I watched the whole game, and everyone pitched in. They hit the shots they were supposed to hit, but they also missed a lot of shots. They missed 4 free throws in a row. The Aces were down by 10, and then they'll come back within 4, and then they'll be back down by 10, and then they'll come within 2 points, and then they'll tie the game. And it's been back and forth. Tie the game, Indiana goes up by 2. Aces tie the game, Indiana go back up by 2. Aces didn't get a lead until the end of the fourth quarter to pretty much help them win the game. So I'm not sure if it's the playing all of these games and then they're also away from home for a good amount of stretch. Maybe that's the issue. But I don't think anyone's really worried about it. They're going to struggle against the teams that they shouldn't struggle against. Because we all know it's a mind thing. When you play a team that you don't think is to your level, you drop down to their level and play with them. But the issue is they're good at their level. So if you drop down to their level, you're going to battle. So until teams, which no team has figured it out in the history of sports from what I've seen, figure out how, if you're at the top and you're playing a team who's not close to you when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to reputation, when it comes to experience, you should play like that experienced team the entire time. Don't drop down to the level and think it's an easy win, because there's no such thing as easy wins, especially not in the W. And a lot of teams need to realize that there's no easy wins. All of these teams are good. These aren't like other leagues where you just have some really bad teams for a long time. Like, all of these players are very good players. So you thinking that is an easy win is going to get you in a situation that the Aces will almost end with losing their first game to a team that's only won one game this season. So that's definitely something that I'm pretty sure Coach Hammond was not happy at the end of the game, even though they won. I guarantee you she wasn't happy. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys for this weekend's basketball games. Like I said, it was a very good show of athleticism this weekend. Very big surprises, and I loved every bit of it. So continue to support me, continue to watch the videos, share it to your friends and families. Thank you guys. Peace, love, happiness.